situation out there for us tonight. I just want to kind of update things here a little bit, and I'm going to move things around. This is from where we were just a little bit earlier. I want to take my wind analysis and get up there around the Waverly area.
Okay, and Lisa, they have extended this tornado warning now to northern Dixon, Houston County, Humphreys County, South Central Montgomery County, and southeastern Stewart County. Still indicating a storm capable of producing a tornado moving. It's right near Hurricane Mills, as we've been mentioning. It's now moving northeast at about 45 to 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's around Hurricane Mills right now. Between Bucksnort and Waverly, you've got hail, you've got lightning. Let me pull out the view, and I'm going to take the wind analysis off here so you can get an idea. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings also, by the way, that have been issued for Lawrence and Giles County and southern Marshall County for some of this stuff coming up out of Alabama. So we could be looking at numerous warnings at any given time. Let me just, I want to set things up here a little bit, get an idea. I want to take a look at what we've got going on down there too. So I'm just sort of resetting our radar scenes here so we can get a look at this activity. But there's the new tornado warning Jeff was just talking about, outlined in purple. It's from Dixon up to Van Leer into Houston County, the Aaron community, all the way through Humphreys County into southeastern Stewart County and southwestern Montgomery County. It's going to impact about 18,000 plus people, and it's in effect until 5:45, so another 45 minutes. But
notice how they've extended it off to the east, which goes back to what you were saying. When these cells get strong like this, sometimes they turn to the right a little bit, and I think the Weather Service is trying to compensate for that, or covering that they think this cell may actually turn to the right a little bit.
Yeah, and that's concerning, because that usually means that they are strengthening. So what I want to do is I want to put a little bit longer storm track on this for you to give you an idea of where this particular cell with this rotation, and boy, is that an impressive reflectivity. The rainfall information that we're seeing, ice is just extremely reflective, and we are looking at that bright purple shading. The latest track on this, I believe, was at about 45 miles per hour. I want to make sure I get that right. And actually, I want to do a little broader track, because I want to make sure everybody who could be impacted by this, and it's basically coming into Waverly right now, but I want to make sure everybody who could be impacted has a fair warning that this is headed their way. So Waverly, it's on top of you. I mean, the rotation is probably still a little bit south of you, but I want you in your safe spot right now. McEwen, 519. Again, Tennessee City, about 526. Van Leer, around 538. All these areas are under a tornado warning. Now, Tarsus, you're just a little bit out ahead of that tornado warning. It goes up to the very far southern fringe of Montgomery County, but stay alert to this weather situation. Tarsus is about 544 and Stringtown about 548. So that gets us up into some of these areas sort of at a long range forecast on this particular tornado path.
Hey, Lisa, those storms that were in northern Mississippi and Alabama now crossing the border, we now have tornado warnings in southern areas of, there we are, down toward the Waynesboro area. Lawrence County and Wayne County, both under tornado warnings right now until 5:45. Again, these are Doppler radar indicated tornadoes, but it's for that big supercell, and that's another one coming up out of the Mississippi area, right up into southern parts of Tennessee.
What speed do they show that one, at 50?
That is moving northeast at 50.
Okay, let's go ahead and put a track on that for these folks up here in Wayne County. You can see Cypress End, 511, Pruitt around 519, Collinwood about 525, West Point at about 530, looking at Waynesboro around 537. So that gives you a heads up there in Cypress End. You need to be taking cover immediately. This warning does go all the way over into the Lawrence County area, from St. Joseph up to Lawrenceburg, back to Waynesboro. So continuing to monitor that for you, with about 4,000 people impacted there till 5:45. So we have a couple of very active storms here on the radar scene, as you can see right now. Let me just kind of give you an overall view of what's happening here. Here's a look up 65. We have the severe thunderstorm warnings outlined in orange, Pulaski, southern Marshall County, back into Lawrence County, but they've sort of overridden that with a tornado warning. The purple outlines are the tornado warnings from Waynesboro, Lawrenceburg, and the Lawrence County area. Nothing happening in Nashville, Brentwood, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Columbia at this point, but all of this is lifting northward. We do have one more tornado warning I see there from Huntsville northeast, so we're going to watch you over here in Lincoln and Franklin County too. But the warning that has been so impressive out there this afternoon is the one that started down in Raymer in southwest Tennessee. You can see that in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. That is the area where where the half-dollar sized hail started up earlier, and that is the area where this rotation started up. So that's a look at one warning that we have coming across Henderson County into Decatur County, and you've got a lot of lightning here, but this is the warning right now. Waverly, you are looking at this storm threat being extremely volatile at this point. This is the area here where the rotation just will not quit. The environment just continues to show that, and you're looking at Highway 13 that's coming across that area. I think Waverly, you are in that B line for either rotation, but certainly hail. You could get either or, and then the McEwen area, I think you need to be taking cover because this could be moving right up your way at any time now. So very, very dangerous storm situation. I want to zoom in just a little bit more and take a look at some of these crosstown roads here. Notice the lightning. This is East Blue Creek Road. We're looking at Bucket Branch Road, Pumpkin Creek Road, and all the way over to North Buchanan Road, around Chamber Spring Road, right up into Waverly. Notice the bright shades of pink for the hail threat coming right on up into town now, and a lot of that lightning too. The rotation, I can't rule it out there, but it is a little bit more likely, I think, just off to the south and east of the Waverly area. Still, we see a little bit of that hole in the radar information as this has just come across Hurricane Mills. We've been talking about that area. It's moving up around Highway 230 up Highway 13 to Pumpkin Creek Road, and over here around South Buchanan Road. Folks, you need to be taking cover from Hurricane Creek Road and Highway 13 up here around Johnson Hollow Road. All of this area is in the path of this storm, and we want you to be safe. We want you to go ahead and be in your safe spot, lowest level of your home, away from any windows. Do not try to go outside and see this. It is most likely rain wrapped. You wouldn't be able to see it anyway, and so we want you to go ahead and take cover. I'm sure Waverly, the folks there just south of 70, are just getting pounded with hail right now. But be aware that the warning has been extinguished or allowed to expire down areas in southern Humphreys County, down into Lobelville. Obviously, you don't have that storm threat there anymore. And they have allowed the tornado warning that was coming in from the west through western Decatur County to expire. So there is stormy activity there, but both of these areas no longer under warnings. But Waverly, Humphreys County, you are clearly under a tornado warning that is very dangerous at this time. We're talking about a very populated area over there in Humphreys County near the Waverly community, and between Waverly and Dixon now. You are all under that tornado warning for this particular cell that has been holding together. It's what we call a discrete supercell. And indeed, Dixon, eastern Houston, Humphreys, and southernmost Montgomery County, all under a tornado warning until 5:45. So a very significant weather threat. It also includes a little bit of southern Stewart County as well, and most of Houston County, I should say. Now, we're looking at the squall line coming in from the west. So we've got a couple of things that we're trying to monitor here all at one time, and it is sort of a busy afternoon, if you will, as we continue to monitor all this action in this area, and lots of storms that are sort of barreling up from the south are also going to be posing a threat for these folks in southern Middle Tennessee. So if you are from Winchester, Fayetteville, Pulaski, Lawrenceburg, certainly Lawrenceburg and Waynesboro, you have a tornado threat coming up out of the south as well. Jeff, are we getting any more information here?
Yeah, we are actually. I have a possible tornado picture up here. I don't know whether our control room can go over to Max 2 and pop that up, but this is from Wendy Steinhaus. If we can put that up on the air.
Oh, that's at I-40. Wow. Yeah, if you can get Max 2 up, there you go.
Yeah, and yeah, that is a possible tornado there. It doesn't look like that funnel may have been reaching the ground at this point, but this is as it was crossing I-40 here west over into Humphreys County. This was shot not that long ago, within the last hour or so. We just got that in. So
yeah, most likely this rotation that we're seeing just around the Waverly and areas southeast of Waverly right now, just looking at the latest wind analysis, you know, and the radar's constantly changing. The storm is constantly changing, so that's why we're continuing to monitor everything very, very carefully for you. But this is going to be approaching Tennessee City and McEwen very shortly, and we are still seeing information on our wind analysis that is very, you know, very real as far as the threat of rotation, moving right up to Highway 70 right now. This, folks, if you are in Waverly, I know you're getting pounded with hail, but right there around 70, coming up towards McEwen, Everybody needs to be taking cover immediately. This is a significant tornado threat that is in this area.
And once again, you can see there's a little bit of a hole maybe on the bottom right-hand part of your screen there with the storm. Yeah, right in there. And again, that may be the rain trying to wrap around whatever circulation is on the bottom right-hand part of the storm.
And the cell has evolved over time, Jeff. We were looking at the rotation being on sort of the south side of it, the flat side of it, but now it's a little bit on the leading edge of the eastern edge of it. And there's a little bit of an appendage down here too, as we look, still just off to the east of Highway 13. So anywhere in this vicinity between 70 and 13, east of 13 and across Highway 70, south and then moving north, you need to be taking cover immediately. We are looking at the McEwen area, Gorman, you're right in the path of this storm, Tennessee City, the Ruskin area up to Van Leer, Woolworth coming up 13. You're going to be looking at some very large hail, and possible rotation could occur there as well. This goes on up into the Yellow Creek area, Edgewood, Sylvia, even Charlotte is under that tornado warning right now. So a very, very active tornado threat as we're getting numerous hail reports from the Waverly area right now. So I'm sure a lot of folks are, when we've kind of warned you that you were going to be pounded by very large hail with this storm, it's just been very impressive. All of this moving up to Gorman and McEwen right now. Folks, I want you to take cover immediately. Do not go outside and try to see this storm. You're just not going to be able to see it, and you don't want to put yourself in that kind of danger anyway. This is a very serious weather situation that we're monitoring up here in Humphreys, Dixon, Houston, into southern Montgomery County. I'm going to put another track on this. It's that time of day when folks are coming home from this and that, and they don't know what's going on. They haven't been watching the tracks, so I want to keep tracking this information for you. I'm going to track it a little bit ahead of where we think that rotation is so that you will be warned in plenty of time to take cover. And I just want to look at the latest information on the movement of this one. I believe it may be moving at about 45 still. Yeah, I believe it, or maybe even 45 miles per hour on this particular storm. So I'm going to do it just a little bit faster than that. I want you to have plenty of warning. McEwen, it is basically in the next couple of minutes that you could be impacted by the very heavy rains and winds. It may be a little bit after 5:23 when the rotation reaches you, but I want you warned now. That tornado warning has just been reissued, I believe.
Yeah, for Dixon, Houston, Humphreys, and Montgomery and Stewart counties. This is out until 5:45. Again, the Weather Service continues to track this supercell thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. Again, it's near McEwen. We're approaching McEwen right now, moving northeast at 50.
I'm going to go ahead and retrack it because I think I did 45, and let me just kind of get things a little bit wider here because I want to go at it's been, between 40, 45, and 50 the entire path of this particular storm cell. So I want to make sure that the latest information is what we're tracking for you, and it is coming up on McEwen right now. It is moving up to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour, and I always like to track just a couple of miles faster than that. 5:20 in McEwen, which is right now. Woolworth at about 5:27, Pollard around 5:32, Van Leer at about 5:37, Woods Valley about 5:42, and the Tarsus area around 5:47. So that's the latest track information for this cell that has been showing signs of rotation since it started up in southwestern areas of Middle Tennessee.
And it still is.
And it still is. Yeah, take a look at that. I mean, you're looking at the wind analysis here, and we're looking at the reds and the greens. The red shade will be moving one direction from the radar. It depends on which radar we're using, but the other will be moving the opposite direction. So obviously what you have here are winds that are right next to one another rotating. They are circulating, and we've had a confirmed tornado on the ground. We've had reports of debris at different times. It may be lifting up and down. Very large hail. You cannot take any chances with this storm as it is coming across Highway 70 between Waverly and McEwen, the Gorman community under the threat right now. So folks, do not take any chances with this storm cell as it continues to march up from the southwest. And let me just pull out the view here just a little bit because I want to remind folks that we have several areas of storm activity that we are following right now. That's the warning for the cell that started way back here in southwest Tennessee with very large hail and possible tornadic activity all along its path. Now we have this cell coming up into southern Wayne County, and I want to pay close attention to that one too. I know we've tracked it several times for you, but maybe you're just getting home from work and you want to see what's going on there and get a better idea of how you're going to be impacted. And I'm right on the southwestern corner of the screen here, so let me zoom in a little bit.
Here, I'll move it up here. Well,
there you go. Yeah, I think we're so tight. There we go. That's going to be the right cell there. But the heavier rain has already come up into the Collinwood area. Right up the Natchez Trace Parkway is where we're seeing some of this stronger storm activity. And look, if we can just, you know, I can go ahead and pan it down, Jeff, a little bit.
Thanks.
We can go ahead and see that bright shading of pink that's already into southern Wayne County from the Natchez Trace south to the state line. A tornado warning is in effect for this area here. That does include Wayne and at least the north or the western half of Lawrence County. So we are looking at this area being under a tornado warning too. You're also up in the Waverly area over into western Dixon County, southern Montgomery, Houston County under a warning. But this is also an area here where we are looking at this tornado warning. I'm going to pull out the view just a little bit on this one and do a storm track on it. And I want to see if we can find the very latest information for this one. I believe this one was moving at about 35 miles per hour, but I'm going to check. Most of these coming up out of Alabama were moving just a little bit slower than some of the storms that were up to the north. So let's go ahead and get a track on this information here for this particular storm cell.
Okay, while Lisa's doing that, I do want to mention to the folks here in Nashville and around the surrounding immediate Nashville area, these cells are well off to our southwest and our west. There's no immediate danger in the Nashville area, but you have to know that these storms and ones like them, which will probably form this evening, will be coming into our area probably within the next 3 or 4 hours. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah,
it's going to be a busy evening, and we knew that would be the case. But here's a look at Collinwood's arrival time at 5:28. You already have some heavy rains there now. Mount Nebo at 5:29, West Point around 5:35, Waynesboro about 5:43. And I know there's rain already. You can hear those rumbles. A lot of lightning down here just south of Highway 13 in southern Wayne County. Spring Creek around 5:46 in the Topsy area at about 5:53. So trying to keep everybody well aware of what's going on. Here is the broader view again. We've talked about Nashville and everybody up and down 65 right here around town and off to the east. Things are still quiet, very windy. We have a flash flood watch, we have a tornado watch, we have a wind advisory, and we have active storms on the radar. The orange outline that you see down in southern Middle Tennessee for Lincoln, southern Marshall, Giles, and the rest of Lawrence County, those are severe thunderstorm warnings for these cells lifting north out of Alabama. But the purple outlines, the one here from Humphreys, Houston over into Dixon County and Lawrence and Wayne County, those are the tornado warnings that are active right now. So again, just trying to, you know, I realize not everybody's watching constantly. I hope you realize that too. And sometimes I know it seems that we're repeating ourselves, but we're trying to do that because we realize people are always tuning in and we want to get the very latest information to them. Notice that this cell has moved just up to the northeast of Waverly now. The bright pink there is coming just to the north side of 70 on the eastern fringes of Waverly. Aaron, you've got some very heavy rain up your way, but Gorman and McEwen right now, we do see some of this notching on the rainfall information. That's where we're looking at that possible rotation right now. We've, of course, talked a lot about that, and we are continuing to monitor that situation as this continues to march up to the east. Let me just put it in a loop mode here for you so you can kind of see where things are going. And it looks like I'll have to step back over to the machine to get it to do that. That's okay. We can see that this is, over the past 30 minutes, been lifting up to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. It'll speed up, it'll slow down. So we're continuing to keep a real close eye on that timing so that we can do more storm tracks to let people know how things have changed over time. This is a look at the wind analysis, and it is still extremely impressive as far as the tornadic threat goes in the McEwen and Gorman areas. We've just watched this area of bright red and bright green. Again, the rotation signature in the wind analysis coming right across Highway 70. This crossed over 40 not long ago, and it's continuing up to the northeast and is a very impressive signature that we see in this vicinity. So we continue to monitor that for any threat that it may pose to these folks up here in northeastern Humphreys County coming into the eastern half of Houston County. From Aaron eastward, you should be taking cover immediately. You're in a tornado warning area all the way back to Tennessee Ridge, but I really think the tornado threat is going to be east of Highway 13, east of Aaron, up around Silvertop, Yellow Creek, coming over towards Edgewood. We're looking at the Thompson's Crossroad area. Tennessee City, I think this is going to skirt by you without clipping your area. It looks like it's a really tight cell, and it may have gotten even tighter, Jeff, since we started tracking it a little bit earlier. But Waverly is no longer under a threat from this storm cell, but there is the squall line still coming in from the west. Camden, Decaturville, Parsons, all dealing with that. It's already through Paris, and I think your storm threat is minimal, if any, at this point in Paris, but eastern Henry County still getting some of the action up around Lamb.
Some of these towns are going to get hit twice, once with the supercell and then again with the squall line. We do want to mention here, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour, and we will continue our live coverage here of the severe weather threat, and which is being realized across Middle Tennessee, right on into World News Tonight. So you won't be seeing World News Tonight as long as we still have this tornadic threat here over Middle Tennessee.
Right. We need to let folks know. I mean, this is just a widespread severe weather threat that we're dealing with out here tonight, and we knew it was coming, so it's a good thing that we've had plenty of warning to know that we needed to pay attention. And a lot of folks asking me on Twitter today about, hey, where do I go if it, is there a storm shelter? That's one of those things you need to talk with your local officials about. Call your local police department, see if you feel like you do not have a safe spot in your home and you want to get into the lowest level of your home. I do not have a basement at my house. We go into an interior closet and just let the coats and everything fall around us. Well, I'm usually here. That's what my family does. So we are looking at, that being the case for a lot of folks. And if you have plenty of heads up, you don't want to wait till the storm's on top of you like this one in southern Wayne County with this tornado warning right now. We see a couple of areas here for potential rotation, both south of Waynesboro and a little closer to the St. Joseph area there in southwestern Lawrence County. But you don't want to wait until it's on top of you. You can't leave your home and then try to get somewhere or outrun a tornado. That's more dangerous. So don't ever try to do that. But if you are at home and this happens, you want to take cover immediately in an interior low-level room in your home.
All right, that squall line, Lisa, now has a lot of severe thunderstorms on it, extending all